internet, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to continue to make all of my BT21 plushies some Halloween costumes on a budget without fabric. I already did some of the BT21 members in my previous video that will be linked down below in the description box if you want to check that one out. And today I'm going to be finishing up the rest of the BT21 members and giving them costumes. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, so the next member to get a Halloween costume is RJ. As you can see, RJ is actually not a plush because I don't have an RJ plush. I thought, okay, well, we can still make him a Halloween costume. So for RJ, I am going to do a pumpkin costume for him. He's kind of going to be like enclosed in the pumpkin, and he's going to have like a little stem hat. Like, you know how the pumpkins have like a little stem? So I'm going to make him a little stem hat too. So for this, I'm going to be using some colored paper, green for the hat and orange for the actual pumpkin itself, scissors, and glue or tape. So first, I'm going to draw a kind of circle so that RJ can kind of sit on top of it. It's gonna work as a base, so I'm just gonna measure. Okay, and I'm not gonna clean up the lines. Because I'm lazy and I don't want to erase all these pencil marks, I'm just gonna flip it upside down like that. And RJ can just sit on his little orange circle as I do the next steps of his costume. I'm going to cut strips out of this orange paper, and these strips are going to go up and down. So kind of like RJ's wearing a striped sweater. So I'm not gonna actually enclose him in a pumpkin. It's gonna be kind of a cage, but it's not gonna be a cage. So I'm going to measure RJ's body, and I don't want it to be longer than this. The strips are all gonna be about this length, and I'm going to start sketching out these like strips. I want to leave a maybe half a centimeter gap in between each little strip. So one strip's gonna go here, and then it's gonna be a centimeter gap where you can see RJ's body, and then another strip, and then another strip. So for now, I only have 7 strips. And now we have all these little strips that are basically going to work like this on RJ's body. So it's gonna go like kind of like that. I'm gonna take this orange paper and I'm going to cut another circle out. But this time it's gonna be a donut because it's gonna have the center cut out. I want to make it big enough so that his butt can fit through the donut. He should be able to slip in and out of this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to the clean side, and I'm going to draw a donut in the middle. So basically how this is going to work, it's going to slide through his body like that, and then this is going to rest up here where his arms are. I'm going to sketch out a pretty big opening. To just cut this out, I'm going to fold it in half gently, snip in the center, and then through that little hole I'm just gonna cut. I cut it too much right here. So now it's very weak at this point. So be careful not to cut it too close to the edge. Please work, please work, please work. Yes! Okay. It worked, it works, yes. Okay. Now RJ has a nice, lovely necklace that will rest on his arms. So now I'm going to assemble everything. I'm going to put RJ on his little circle, and then I'm going to center this little necklace. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these strips And I'm gonna glue a tiny bit on the bottom here, and then I'm gonna bend it up and then glue this top part up here. So it'll be kind of rounded. Here is my little pumpkin for RJ. It's very lopsided kind of, but I think it is still pretty good, and if you look at it, you can't really tell. Now I'm going to move on to the little like pumpkin hat with the little stem. So to make his little hat, I've got more orange construction paper, and I'm basically going to create some kind of like maybe a circle or maybe even an oval to the size of his head. I'm gonna kind of go around like this. So I'm just gonna kind of measure that and then cut out that circle. Okay, so I'm gonna flip it over to the good side. So to actually make the hat itself, I'm going to cut these two little slits on the side, and then I'm gonna fold them over, so it kind of creates a hat shape, whereas just a little flat circle on his head. And I'll show you what I mean because I'm about to do it. I'm gonna fold it over a little like this, and you can see that the paper is starting to bend upward, so it's more like a hat. So I'll glue that down, and I'm gonna do the same to this side. I'm gonna kind of fold it over like that, see? And I'll put it on top of his head. It'll poke up a little, so I'm going to actually tape that down, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay. Now that the hat is complete, I'm gonna place it on top like that. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to move on to the little stem of the pumpkin. So to make the stem, I'm going to first draw out a rectangle, and note that this length right here is gonna be how tall your stem is gonna be. After that, I drew a waist W rectangle underneath the first one and cut them both out. Then, like with RJ's necklace, I did those kind of like little frillies up to the line that I drew, and then after that I kind of bent all the little frills over on that line so they're all kind of the same length, and then I started to shape the stem to that cylinder shape that I wanted, then folded over the frills to kind of create a base for the stem. I applied some glue and stuck it onto the hat, and if you're wondering, okay, how am I gonna fix this open gap right here? You're just gonna pinch the stem closed and just fold it and then apply some tape and you'll be done. And once you finish gluing and taping everything down, this is what the little hat should look like. For a little detail, I'm gonna take a orange colored pencil and I'm just gonna draw lines going up and down to make it look more like a pumpkin. Okay, so once you're done drawing everything, this is how the pumpkin hat should look. I did draw a little curly Q and a little leaf. It doesn't look like it, but you can make it out. And now I'm gonna place it on RJ. And his little pumpkin costume is complete. Wow. Even though it's made out of paper, it doesn't look too bad. So of course you can secure down the hat with a little bit of painter's tape, but I'm not. It's honestly fine to me. And now we can move on to the next member that we are going to make a Halloween costume for. Okay, so the next member to get a Halloween costume is going to be Mang. I got this little round plushy Mang, and I thought that it would be cute to make him a little witch hat. So for this, I'm going to use purple paper for the hat, a little yellow for the buckle, and some black for extra detail. So first off, I'm going to take my little Mang and I'm going to figure out how wide do I want the base of my hat. So I'm going to sketch out a circle. And now I'm just going to cut it out. So this is the part that's going to go on top of Ming's head. And I'm obviously going to have to make a few little cuts so that the ears can stick out. But for now, I'm just going to put that off to the side. And I'm going to create the actual pointy part of the hat, or like the cone shape. So I'm basically going to take my pencil and I'm going to draw a rectangle for how long I want my hat to be. So I still want a little bit of this elastic hook to peek out, so I'm only gonna make the hat that big. So that's how long I'm gonna sketch out my rectangle. I'm just gonna cut it out. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do with this rectangle is I'm going to roll it up like a cone. And then once it is rolled to how you like it, I'm gonna take some tape and I'm gonna just tape everything in place. And now what I'm gonna do is, I don't want this side, these little tips longer than this side, so I'm just gonna take scissors and just kind of flatten it a little and then cut what I don't want off. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is, just like RJ's STEM hat, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm gonna make a few small cuts, just like RJ's STEM hat, so that we can fold and kind of attach this to the base of our witch hat or wizard. So now once you have everything cut, you should have these like little frillies, and I'm just gonna take those and fold it over. And I think it's pretty obvious that I cut the strips a little too short, and so you definitely want to make these little strips a little longer than what I did, so that you have more to glue onto your base. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some glue and I'm gonna glue it like this. And you wanna glue those little frills onto the base, and you should have your basic witch hat completed. Once the glue has dried or your witch hat is stuck together, I'm gonna take, and this is not completely dry, so do not follow in my steps. I'm gonna take a pencil and poke a hole into the bottom of my witch hat. And I'm gonna create an opening right under my cone. See if alright, so it can fit, but obviously I don't want my witch hat looking like this. This does not, no. So what I'm gonna do is, on the top of my witch hat, I'm going to snip a little part off so that, yes, there we go. So that the elastic can feed through. Come in. Yes, 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 yes. And ta-da! So it looks kind of funky with that up there, but honestly, not my biggest concern. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make little spots for the ears to poke out. And now, for some of the details on the hat, I'm gonna take some black paper and I'm just gonna cut out a strip. There we go. And I'm going to wrap it around the hat. I probably will tape it because glue just takes forever to dry. And before I tape it down, I just want to quickly make a buckle. So I got a tiny little piece of yellow paper and I'm going to actually just cut out a kind of square. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut out the center. Okay, now that I've cut out the center, I'm going to feed the belt through the buckle like that. And this is completely optional. You can just draw on the belt, but I want to make it a little more realistic. So, and now I'm just going to tape this belt and buckle to the hat. Okay, so now presenting my little witch / wizard Mang. I think this is so cute. I know the buckle's a little slanted and the hat doesn't exactly rest too well onto his little head, but I think it's really cute nonetheless, and I'm very proud. I mean, look at him. He's all around with his little hat, and I think it's really cute. So that is it for Mang's costume. We're going to move on to the next Halloween costume. Okay, so the next BT21 member to get spookified is Chimmy. I also don't have Chimmy's plush, but I do have several Chimmy figures, so I'm going to transform or give a costume to this little guy. I think Chimmy will look super cute as a bat. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a little hat for Chimmy, I'm gonna make a little cape, and then I'm gonna add some little fangs, because what's a bat without its fangs? So let's get right to it. Okay, all you're practically gonna need for this is black paper and white paper if you choose to add fangs to Chimmy. So to start off, I'm going to make Chimmy's little bat hat, and to make the hat, it's gonna be exactly the same as RJ's pumpkin hat. So just follow those same steps and you'll get the base for the hat. Don't add the stem though, just make the base of the hat. Okay, so now the basic form of our hat is done. It's exactly like RJ's. And now you place it on top of Chimmy's little head, and Chimmy's got a nice little hat. So now what I'm gonna do is right here where the tape is, I'm going to make and then tape on or glue on some bat ears. And I'll show you what I mean. I've got my black paper here again, and I'm going to sketch out some bat ears, and then I'm going to cut them out. Okay, now that the bat ears are all cut out, I'm going to take the hat and take the ears, and I'm going to bend a part of the ears backwards, kind of like that, so that this part that I just bent back can attach to the hat like this. I'm going to attach it on like that, and you can have little bat ears. Okay, so here's our little bat hat. I've got the little ears, and I'm gonna place it on top of Chimmy's head, and now Chimmy's got little bat ears that almost look like cat ears. Now I'm going to move on, and I'm gonna make him some wings. So I've got my black paper again, and I'm going to, basically what I'm gonna do is I wanna see how long do I want my wings to go. So I'm gonna think about only this long. And what's gonna happen is I'm gonna basically sketch out one wing, sketch out the other wing, and connect them. And then I'm gonna cut it out, and they're gonna both be connected to each other, and they're gonna attach on the back of Chimmy. So you can basically make the wings however you want. you can get really creative at this point. Make them super spiky, make them super dull. I'm gonna kind of just go for a bat. Just classic wings. Okay, so the wings have been cut out, and I'm gonna take Chimmy, take his hat off real quick, and I'm gonna hold him, and on the back here, and that's where I'm going to put his little wings. I'm gonna attach them like this, and ta-da! He's got what sort of looks like bat wings. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to gently, very, very, very carefully tape. I'm not gonna press down too hard because I don't want to mess up the paint when I take the costume off. So I'm gonna gently, okay, there we go. And now, ta-da! Yes, okay, this is Chimmy's little bat costume. And so that is it for Chimmy's costume. We're going to move on to the final few members. Okay, so the final member to get a Halloween costume is Tata. So for Tata, I thought it would be really cute and kind of cool, since Tata's got kind of a heart-shaped body, to make him a little ghost. So I've got a full tissue here, and I think everyone knows how to make a ghost costume, but if you don't, basically just drape it over like that, and you can cut it to your liking, but I'm gonna kind of leave mine like this. And I also want some eyes to peek out, so I'm just gonna very simply take the tissue. This is like your very classic Halloween costume right here. There we go. There's an eye. You know what? I'm just gonna rip this whole part off. You can now see Tata's little face, and when Tata goes trick-or-treating, I'll be able to see where he's going. So this is Tata's little ghost costume. I think Tata's very cute in his little ghost costume, and you're probably wondering, okay, wait a second, where's Van? Don't worry, I have not forgotten about Van. I've got a very interesting costume. To make Van's costume, all you need is candy, and then you just take the wrapper, the white side, you wrap it around Van, and then you just kind of uncover Van. And now Van's got matching ghost costumes with Tata. Well, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had so much fun making all these different Halloween costumes and seeing how they all turned out. You can try some of these yourselves, and if you have any questions, you can comment them down below. Also comment what your favorite costume was. I honestly don't have a favorite. They all came out so well. And tell me if you try any of these and how they go. And I will see you guys soon. Bye!